Kind of becoming a common trend in our videos, dangerous places, dangerous animals, etc, etc. And luckily in this video, those two kinda go hand in hand. Granted, not every place in the world is dangerous. You just gotta be mindful and prepared before you decide to hit certain spots around the world. In today's video, we're gonna take a look at 10 of the most dangerous tourist locations in the world. As always, at the end of the video, you'll be able to decide for yourself if it's worth visiting these places or not. But more importantly, you'll find out if you're ready to see these sights. Or, again, not. Because, trust me, some of these places won't even allow your visit unless you're in the right physical and mental conditions. Let's get talking to it. Number 10. New Smyrna Beach, USA. So, believe it or not, there is this thing called the International Shark Attack File. And according to it, New Smyrna Beach is the shark capital of the world. That's great news for sharks, as it seems like this is the perfect home for them. But it's not great news for us humans, especially for those who love the Floridian beaches. While New Smyrna Beach has captivating views, it also holds a record of 250 shark attacks throughout its history. That is actually the beach with the most shark attacks per square mile in the entire world. While most of these shark attacks were not deadly, I can't think of any human out there who would enjoy being attacked by one of these creatures. The most popular sharks in these waters are the young bull sharks, which usually come to the surface and attack humans while confusing them for other animals that they actually do eat. It must be fun to see this beach, but now you can't say that no one warned you about the sharks. Go at your own risk. Number 9. Yellowstone National Park, USA. Yellowstone Park is hands down one of the most popular American landmarks. This place is a great representation of the American outdoor lifestyle. But a place as big as Yellowstone obviously comes with its own set of dangers. As soon as you make it to the gates of this park, you'll be told to be prepared for bear encounters, which can literally happen at any time during your visit. Whether you go to the park for camping or just to do a simple hike, the chances of spotting a grizzly bear are very high. However, a bear encounter does not always end in conflict. In fact, a recent records show an average of 1 bear attack per year, which is pretty comforting. And there have also been more than 100 million visitors since the year 1980, so that means that your chances of being attacked by a grizzly bear are 1 in 2.7 million. It is a very low chance, but you never know who will be the unlucky one to face one of these bears. If you happen to be that one person, just be ready to respond in a way that keeps you and the bear safe. Number 8. MADIDI National Park, Bolivia. Speaking of encounters with nature, here's another one that will make you reconsider your travel plans. The MADIDI National Park in Bolivia is famous for its tropical rainforest landscape. This magical spot is at the mouth of the Amazon River, so you can get an idea of all the biodiversity that the park has to offer. And even though all that sounds like a great South American adventure, the place is also known to be the home of some of the most poisonous plants in the world. While plants are often harmless, the wrong move in this national park can turn into a terrible experience. And if for some reason you get an open wound, make sure you cover it right away. There are a ton of parasites in this place that can ruin your trip if you let them get too close to your wound. And for those who love spiders, well, let me tell you that this park is full of poisonous spiders. I guess a visit to MADIDI can be a life-changing experience, for good or for bad. Number 7. Chernobyl, Ukraine. If you watch a lot of TV or YouTube videos or play a lot of video games, then you already know about Chernobyl. After the famous HBO series came out, Chernobyl in Russia has become a very unusual tourist destination. That is because the Chernobyl power plant became the scenario of an awful nuclear disaster back in the mid-80s. People like to come to this place and have a look at what life in those years used to be like. After all, the city of Pripyat, which is where the nuclear plant was, looks like a city that's been frozen in time, oddly enough. Nowadays, the place is relatively safe for tourists, but visitors are still warned against touching stuff. They can't even touch vegetation on the ground as it could be contaminated by the radiation of an incident that happened more than 30 years ago. I guess you'll find this experience enjoyable if you have an interest in tragic historical events, or Fallout, or Stalker, etc. Just make sure you follow the rules set by authorities. They don't want to make your life impossible. They just want to make sure you stay safe during their visit. Number 6. The Devil's Pool, Zambia. When I think about the African continent, I think of wild animals and unbelievably hot temperatures. But I know the continent does have a lot to offer. It has a variety of different climates and all sorts of tourist attractions. And there are also countries like Zambia that have so many mountains which allow the temperature to be pleasant for most of the year. Still, a refreshing swim is always welcome, wouldn't you agree? And Zambia has one of the best and scariest swimming pools in the world, that being the Devil's Pool. This swimming hole is at the top of the Victoria Falls. At 108 meters high, these falls are some of the highest waterfalls in the world. That's about as high as a 33-story building. I really can't imagine swimming there because I'm already terrified of heights and I'd be afraid of falling to my death. But apparently visiting this spot is possible, and it's one of the most popular attractions in the area. You just gotta make sure you get the help of a local guide. They know when is the best time to visit and how best to approach it. Otherwise, your experience at the Devil's Pool can be pretty unpleasant. Number 5. Colorado River, USA. How can a river be one of the most dangerous attractions in the world? Well, there are plenty of reasons for that. You just gotta look at the Colorado River to get a better sense of what events can make a river dangerous. This river is more than 2,000 kilometers long, and it goes through the states of Colorado, California, Utah, Nevada, and Arizona. And you can even spot it while visiting the Grand Canyon. Just like Yellowstone Park, the Colorado River is another landmark when it comes to outdoor experiences in the US. But during rainy seasons, this river can be quite deadly, and the same goes for when high amounts of melted snow get into the river. That is the worst time to travel through the river. In 2014 alone, there were 15 deaths in just 7 months of harsh weather conditions. Usually, the rough waters cause people to drown. These unfortunate events can be stopped by getting proper education prior to your visit. Other than that, it's actually a great sight. But you gotta make sure that you know about the weather conditions beforehand, and also make sure you know what to do in case of an emergency. Number 4. VILLARICA Volcano, Chile. There's always an active volcano in this kind of list. The one I chose for today is VILLARICA Volcano in Chile, an active volcano that put some lives at risk a few years ago. This volcano is part of the South Volcanic Zone of the Andean Volcanic Belt, which is one of the most relevant volcanic belts in South America. Tourists like to make their way to the top of this volcano from the starting point at a town named Pucón. Back in 2017, some tourists had the scariest time of their lives when the volcano started to erupt. However, the eruption wasn't that big, and thankfully no one got hurt. And that's not the most extreme thing that can happen to you during a visit to the volcano. Apparently, there is a number of people who prefer to use a helicopter to bungee jump into the crater of the active volcano. You know, perhaps as a species we weren't really meant to survive. This is perhaps one of the most extreme and dangerous experiences that you can have, and it's most definitely not for everyone. Number 3. VERZASCA Dam, Switzerland. Speaking of bungee jumping, here's one of the ultimate destinations for anyone who enjoys that activity. VERZASCA Dam in Ticino, Switzerland is one of the highest jumping sites around the globe. In fact, the place is so famous that it was featured in the 2002 James Bond movie GoldenEye. For that reason, many adventurous tourists like to visit the spot and recreate the scene from the movie. Heck, some people actually take this a step further and do this activity at night. This dam is more than 200 meters tall, but the chances of you dying from bungee jumping are statistically low. You just gotta make sure your mind is ready to take it. It is definitely not an experience for the faint of heart, though. Now it's time for the day's best pick. Now, the picture I chose for the day shows a tourist activity that is no longer available. As it turns out, it was too dangerous and they had to shut it on down. Let's check it out with number 2. Elephant Kingdom Park, Thailand. The Elephant Kingdom Park in Chonburi, Thailand was famous not because of elephants, but because of its crocodile-infested waters. People would be put in cages on plastic barrels just so they could get close to these reptiles, but people were teasing the animals with food, which brought the 10-foot-long crocs very close to the humans. When the pictures went viral on Twitter, some people condemned the tourists' actions as cruel, and I can really see that. No one likes to be teased with food, especially if you're a really large crocodile. But that's not all. When authorities noticed how close the crocodiles were to the people, they decided to close down this attraction. Through the photos, they noticed that some tourists actually enjoy the dangerous attraction, but some others were very uncomfortable. Given the unpredictable nature of these reptiles, it was not safe to keep tourists close to them. There are plenty of adventurous activities in Thailand, but visiting this crocodile farm is no longer an option. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1. Mount Everest, Nepal. It shouldn't surprise you that the highest peak of the world is also the attraction that I put at the top of this list. Mount Everest welcomes around 1,200 climbers every year, but only half of them make it all the way to the top. And unfortunately, a handful of them die trying. This is obviously due to the high altitude and freezing temperatures that people experience during their journey. Even the people who make it to the top experience some major physical challenge before they can make it to that top. For that reason, this hike requires a lot of mental and physical preparation. And even with all the preparation, you can't guarantee a smooth experience. You're gonna have to be prepared for the worst. But I guess that's what makes this dangerous experience a pleasant one for all those who venture into it, or don't end up coming out. All of these places really do look pretty dangerous, but I know none of this information is gonna stop people from visiting them. Would you like to explore any of these places? Or maybe you've already visited some of them already? Let us know in the comments section down below. With all that said and done, that's our video for today, folks, and I will see you all next time. Later, everybody!